So, what's your name? What's your title? And how long have you been at Microsoft?
Hi, my name is Begimai. I'm a software engineer. I've been at Microsoft a little over 2 years.
Great. And what did you study at university?
I studied at AUC, American University of Central Asia. The major was software engineering.
And that's in Kyrgyzstan?
Yes, that's in Kyrgyzstan.
That's really cool. So, for that, would you say that, okay, well, does your degree, like, do you find people with different degrees coming into Microsoft?
Yeah, I think there are different people with different backgrounds and not necessarily related to software engineering. So, in a sense, I think degree is a huge advantage, but it's not a requirement.
Mm-hmm. And so what would you give as one piece of advice to someone who wants to get into Microsoft?
Mm-hmm. Try it. Just try it, apply and see how the interview goes, what are the skills you're missing, and you usually get some nice feedbacks. People are quite welcoming during the interviews, so they're very open and they're there to support and help you to get into Microsoft. So, and there are a lot of online resources where you can get the tips and tricks how to get prepared on the interview. You can always reach out to people who are already working at Microsoft, like Salman or me. Maybe even get referrals.
Begimai's inbox is going to be spammed. Check out my playlist if you want. Thanks. And so, loads of people are like, okay, what language should I learn? Like for an interview, right? Does it matter if someone chooses?
No.
one?
No.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, me, I came to interview with Python background. So I was writing the solutions in Python. And even though interviewer might not be familiar with the language, they're still okay with it as long as you, they ask questions and try to explain and get the gist of, what are you doing. If they understand, then that's totally valid.
So when do you think someone should make that step to apply?
I guess you have to decide for yourself, just to commit for it and go with the preparation for the funk interviews. I think it's quite searchable. You can find a lot of answers and put yourself some deadline. That's how I went, I guess. I put myself a deadline and I started applying, even though initially it was scary and I remember my first big tech interview. I was so scared that I forgot everything. So I was so nervous that I couldn't perform well, and I think it's something that comes with the practice. And
yeah, and so you also mentioned that at the beginning you were learning throughout the process. So did you feel okay, you've got a lot of pressure to learn? Do you feel like maybe, for example, imposter syndrome or something like that?
I guess solving lead codes on their own was quite straightforward, and reading the books for the interview preparation. But I remember when I just joined Microsoft, I think first couple weeks, even months, I felt the imposter syndrome in the sense first of all, it was quarantine, so I started remotely. I guess it has big influence also. Maybe it wouldn't happen if I came to the office. Then I remember that feeling oh, they're gonna know that I'm not that good enough and they're gonna fire me or something. I don't know. I had this weird feeling that okay, I got the offer, I'm already working, but they're gonna find out that I'm not that good. But yeah, I guess imposter syndrome is quite real and can happen to anyone. And what to do if you have imposter syndrome? What I did, I guess, I just started talking about it. I told my manager, I told my colleagues that what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing. And some of my colleagues actually have felt the imposter syndrome, so they could share their knowledge and how they went through some resources maybe. And my manager was quite supportive and was trying to be always there when I needed. And just acknowledging that you have imposter syndrome, I think, helps. that it's just a thought and you don't have to focus your energy on it, but rather actually do something productive. So I guess just acknowledging that there is a feeling, okay, but it's just that it's coming from imposter syndrome. I guess if you acknowledge it, it's easier to focus on the learning and working.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you're putting a label on it. So like
Yeah. So you put
yeah.
like it's not constructive, logical decision, let's say,
Yeah.
but it's more of like coming from the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And you try to like bring evidence if it's like really imposter syndrome or you really lack some skills or whatever. In my case, like I was coming totally from different background. Like I used to use macOS. I used to use AWS for deployment. And I was using Python.
What are those? I don't know.
So yeah.
Are you in Azure?
So yeah, that's what I guess that's was the biggest challenge, that you come like totally refreshed, like all the tools and all the skills are something new to build. And on the other hand, I knew that I am capable of learning. I have the foundation and I have the resources and people are there to support and give me time. So I guess that helped me.
Yeah, I mean that's growth mindset. It reminds me of something I learned in psychology. Sometimes, apparently, there's this thing where people suffer like because of their unconscious, and so one of the things is people need to be able to identify their unconscious thing to be able to start healing from it. So like it reminds me of that when you were saying, okay, let's identify when with imposter syndrome. And another thing, I feel like it's very common. Like if someone doesn't feel imposter syndrome, I think that's perhaps not normal. So yeah, I mean, of course, if people don't feel it, it's good. But I think it's very common, despite no matter what seniority or how many years someone has at a company, because like even if you come in as a principal, maybe people will be like, "Why are you principal? Are you just joined?" Or like if you just joined a team, they might be like, "Oh, who's this new person?" Like this pressure.
Of course. And especially like moving to new country, new culture, new team, I think all of it adds up and it's totally fine to feel it. And just that, I guess, try not to focus on the negative parts, but be more open for the support and help that are there to be provided for you.
Are there any like activities that you think help with coming to a new country or interacting with colleagues?
I guess in general, Estonian. I really like Estonian culture, and but moving during the quarantine, I think it has its own drawbacks as well. But what helped me a lot, I guess, to get some hobbies. So if you have like some hobbies, interest, I think it's a great source to make new friends and connections. Like for example, I do squash and beach volleyball. Also, we play board games at Microsoft.
Thank you.
So yeah, I feel like it's a great place to meet new people and communicate outside of like working hours.
For those who don't know, this is like the third take because the audio didn't work, and
Previous time.
the previous time she didn't mention board games, and I was like, hello.
So this is how we met actually, with Salman, board games.
Did I not know you before from volleyball?
Ah yeah, so
Maybe.
Volleyball and then board games.
Yeah, so we're in totally different teams, but I organise these board games, and that's why I'm like, hey, board games, you must don't have to mention it, no pressure. I'll pay you after. No, I'm joking. So what's your favourite part about Microsoft? Did I ask you that already?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, the fifth time. Okay, so if you could describe your experience at Microsoft in one word, sum up in one word, what would that word be?
I think it would be inspiration, because I feel inspired by my colleagues, by the product, by the features we are doing, and I feel inspiration to achieve more, and hopefully be inspireful for others as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's as if you're saying the slogan to help every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. Very on brand, and that's Mike's inspired as well. I don't know if you've been training for media, but it's very good. So yeah, thank you so much, Begimai. Check out
Thank you
Begimai on
for having
LinkedIn
me.
and also all your other social medias like
Yeah.
Facebook,
Feel free
MySpace.
to get in contact and get referrals to Microsoft.
Yeah, now she'll have loads of pings on LinkedIn. Cool, thanks.